When you think of ancient civilizations, who comes to mind? The Egyptians with their pyramids. The Romans with their empire. Well, what if I told you there's another civilization, even older and arguably more influential, that holds some of the deepest mysteries of our past, and maybe even our future? I'm talking about the Sumerians. Living over 6,000 years ago in Mesopotamia, the Sumerians were absolute game changers. They gave us writing, laws, math, astronomy, and some incredibly complex myths. But beneath all these incredible achievements lies a much deeper question. Did the Sumerians know things far beyond their time? Things that some people believe are predictions about our world today. How could a society from the Bronze Age understand concepts we're just now grappling with? Did they really forecast events thousands of years in advance, or are we just misreading their ancient symbols? To get to the bottom of this, we need to start with their most amazing legacy, cuneiform tablets. Imagine this, hundreds of thousands of clay tablets, each etched with tiny wedge-shaped marks. These aren't just shopping lists. They contain everything from farming tips to epic stories about gods descending from the sky, incredibly advanced star maps, and records that completely challenge what we think we know about history. Some of these texts, like the famous Anunnaki or the Epic of Gilgamesh, talk about cosmic cycles, massive floods, and the rise and fall of civilizations in a way that sounds hauntingly familiar. They describe a universe that runs on predictable rhythms, over vast spans of time, governed by celestial movements. This is way more sophisticated than what you'd expect from a civilization that existed thousands of years ago. But where it gets really wild is Sumerian astronomy. These guys mapped the sky with breathtaking accuracy. They tracked the planets, recorded eclipses, identified constellations, and even described the tilt and rotation of the Earth. They divided the sky into 12 distinct regions, a system we still see echoes of in astrology and astronomy today. Here's the kicker: the Sumerians recorded astronomical cycles that span thousands of years. This includes something called precession, which is the slow wobble of Earth's axis. It's a phenomenon that modern science didn't really get a handle on until the 20th century. So, how on earth did the Sumerians know about it? This leads us to another fascinating Sumerian belief, the idea of repeating ages of humanity. Their myths tell of cycles where civilization rises and then falls, guided or even disrupted by forces from the cosmos. They talked about ages of incredible knowledge, followed by ages of decline, and then periods of total transformation. Doesn't that sound a lot like what modern scientists talk about? We have cyclical climate patterns, solar activity cycles, and long-term cosmic shifts that affect our planet. Some experts argue that these so-called Sumerian predictions were actually just incredibly astute observations and coded into their myths for future generations. Others think they might have had a much deeper, almost mystical understanding of time itself. Let's look at another piece of the puzzle, the Sumerian King List. It's a document that lists their rulers, but with a bizarre twist. The kings who ruled before a great flood are said to have lived for thousands of years each. Then, after the flood, the kings have much more normal lifespans. Now, most historians dismiss these huge numbers as purely symbolic, but some researchers have a different take. They suggest the list might actually represent cycles of human advancement and collapse, not individual reigns. What's even stranger is that the King List seems to predict that after these long ages of decline, a new age of knowledge will eventually rise again. Some people today look at our current technological boom, this incredible age of rapid advancement after centuries of slower progress, and see a parallel. Could we be living in the new age of knowledge the Sumerians wrote about? The Sumerians also documented celestial events they believed would reshape the future. They described specific planetary alignments, warned of destructive cosmic forces, and identified astronomical markers that would signal major turning points for Earth. Their priests, called the Bar, would interpret these signs and issue warnings about droughts, wars, and the movement of empires. And here's the thing, many of these predictions were surprisingly accurate, not because of magic, but because they were based on patterns the Sumerians had meticulously observed and recorded over centuries. Another controversial area is the Sumerian understanding of genetics and human origins. Their creation stories are wild. They describe humanity being created, or at least genetically modified, by advanced beings they called the Anunnaki. Now, you can interpret these stories symbolically, as early attempts to explain where we came from. But even so, the Sumerians showed a remarkable awareness of human biology. They wrote about the body, reproduction, and even hereditary traits in a way that was light years ahead of their time. This just raises more questions. Were these just imaginative myths, or were they preserving real knowledge, maybe passed down from an even earlier, lost civilization? So, let's circle back to the big question: did the Sumerians actually predict our future? The answer is yes, in a way. But probably not in the mystical, crystal ball sense you might be imagining. What the Sumerians truly understood were long-term cycles. They saw them in the stars, in the environment, and in human society. They recognized a fundamental truth that history tends to repeat itself. Civilizations rise, they grow powerful. They become unstable, and then they collapse. And after the dust settles, new societies emerge from the rubble to rebuild and advance. Today, historians, climate scientists, and sociologists all recognize these exact same patterns. The Sumerians just happened to document it all thousands of years earlier. Their astronomical knowledge seems like prophecy because it was based on real, observable cycles that modern science would eventually confirm. Their myths feel prophetic because they speak to timeless truths about human nature and the rhythms of the cosmos. And their warnings about the future, warnings about imbalance, environmental change, and societal collapse feel so relevant today because, well, we're human. And humanity continues to fall into the same patterns. In the end, the Sumerians may not have had a magical window into the future, but they had something just as powerful. They understood the blueprint of human civilization. They saw the forces that shape our societies and the cosmic rhythms that govern our world. And in their ancient stories, their star charts, and their clay tablets, they left us a powerful message. If you truly understand the past, you can begin to foresee the future. If you enjoyed this deep dive into ancient knowledge, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which ancient civilization you'd like to explore next. Thanks for watching.